Welcome back to Rhymes to Reality podcast, your go-to for all things hip-hop culture and beyond. I'm your host, Nyla Nicole, a.k.a. Knick Knack, a.k.a. First Lady of the Bay, a.k.a. Platinum Without the Record Deal, baby. From a bitch that said, not me too. As we explore passionate, insightful things where music, hip-hop, and social issues intersect. I'm here to be diving into thought-provoking discussions as we delve into everything hip-hop and beyond. Let's talk about it. So we're getting into, is hip-hop dying? Is hip-hop dead? Is it a change of the guard happening right now? Because I truly think it is. I believe it's a change of the guard right now. The music deserves to be back into the people's hand that deserve it, that work hard for it, that have poured their life, sweat, blood, and tears into this game. And as we looking at everything, all these people right now, especially with Diddy, Sean Diddy, Puffy Combs, I would never, ever celebrate anyone's demise or downfall. But if we're going to keep it a buck, 100, a bean, karma has everybody's address. And see, for those who weren't there, they could only speculate. I was there so I can participate and give my POV on some of the things that happened. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've been on tour with Puff. I've encountered Puff. I've had a few interactions with Puff. Some of them weren't good. Some of them were. I'm not here to embellish. I'm here to tell the truth. And so my truth is that, when I'm sitting back and I've had a couple of friends call me and they're like, wow, you remember you said this and remember, 20-something years ago. I went on my second nationwide tour. It was the 95 hip-hop R&B tour with Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, P. Diddy, Junior Mafia, Little Kim. I mean, it was a big tour. And it was the first tour, and I was with the Loonies because I featured on the B-side of 5 on it. So in that time of meeting Puff, he was very humble. He was very humble because he used to ask our producer if they could play, if he and Biggie could go on and rock 5 on it for their intro, which was dope. It was super dope, but we were all starting out. And what I can tell you from my observation of Diddy. So the observation of Diddy was that he was humble, but he was methodical, he was strategic. He was very much mentoring. Like, he is the type of man that you want to mentor you without the bullshit, basically. Excuse my language. But what I did observe from Diddy after the shows at the hotel, he's gathering his groups around. He's giving them pep talks. He's telling them to review their performances. He's putting on James Brown, which I loved. I'll remember that moment I had, and, unfortunately, it didn't start with Diddy. He's just a victim of his environment. And the part that really gets me is that, for all the people that had issues, that couldn't get their masters, that couldn't get a break after him, I'm sure there's a quiet chuckle. And it's unfortunate because, we as a community, we tend to have selective rage when we want, when we really admire somebody, when we really, hold them in high regard. And what I knew back then and that holds true today is they're regular people, just like you and me. They have a little more access. They have a little more power. They have a little more money, maybe a lot more money. But they are still regular people. And left to their vices, whoever they were before they got that money, it's only magnified with the money. So, can I say when I looked in Puff's eyes, was he dark? Yes. Can I say that he knew better than to try it with me? Yes. But there was still it was a moment where I knew I was not in very pleasant territory, and being on tour with him and having that encounter with him, and seeing him again after that, it was interesting, because the times that I had to be in the studio with him, to be acknowledged by him, God would not allow me to write a bar, write a rhyme, anything, nothing. And so I say there's something to be said about the choices you make. See, a lot of these people made choices to do and be around him when they had heard the rumors, when they knew people who experienced some of the things that they thought they weren't going to experience. So as a young girl coming up in hip hop, and my good friend had made it, my daughter's father had a major record deal. I had featured on, a few things, but this was supposed to be the moment for me. I'm on the B-side. I wrote, contributed to the B-side of 5 on it, and, get on tour, and the politics happens, right? So on that tour, me being so loyal to my soil, being from the West Coast or whatever, I didn't integrate as much. I wished I would have integrated. I wished I would have, really got to know Big, but I was a little bullyish, and I had my guards up because just being a woman, period, when you're around, you just looked at as a piece of meat. What you got to offer is a piece of meat, not your bars, not your intellect, nothing. Just what can you do for me? And so how I even ended up on the bus with them was because we had a break. Total shout out to my girls. They were my buddies on tour. We were all going down to Howard's homecoming, and they declined to go at the last minute, and I wanted to go because I always wanted to attend Howard. So I get on the bus, and I end up on Diddy's bus, and I made sure to wrap up, scarf, t-shirt, pajamas, because I wasn't there for the entertainment. Somehow, some way, there was a small uncomfortable moment. And, because I'm coming up in the industry, I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want to, turn into Knick Knack from Oakland. Because Knick Knack from Oakland is a beast. So I'm containing her while I'm on the bus with Diddy and the whole crew going down to Howard Homecoming. And I'll tell you, the behavior I saw, the things that I witnessed, it will be more expanded in the book from a bitch that said, not me too. That's the name of my published book that I will be launched this summer. It's been 30 years in the making about my life and times in the hip hop and how I survived, not just Diddy, but a lot of situations. And if I could give some jewels to anybody coming up in the game, know yourself. Make sure your business is good. Don't just sign a contract because they're offering you a little bit of money. Your intellectual property is worth millions, and that's what they know. That's why they want your publishing. That's why they want your masters. So understand the game. Hip Hop 101 is real. Hip Hop 101, y'all, that's in the industry, up and coming rappers, artists, singers, musicians. Know where you at. Know the ground that you're walking on. Know the field that you playing on, because they don't play fair. They don't play fair. These ninjas and these women, they be on emo time. They be on ego time. They be on, if you make them feel smaller because you know yourself or you too smart, just go on and go back to the old school. Put your money where your mouth is, and don't go to a label for any endorsement. Because why would you? After you do all the work, after you do all the hustling, why would you allow them to take a piece of everything you got, even if they don't go out and get it from you? See, I learned the hard way. I had to learn the hard way with contracts and paperwork and all those kind of things. And I remember I went to New York one summer and I sat with this management group. They took me to a lawyer, they took me to an accountant, and they took me to a business accountant. And they said, these are the three things you need to make sure you have in pocket whenever you sign a contract, whenever you do a deal. Make sure you have these three people in line, because that's why so many of us, including me, we want to extort ninjas. We want to extort them because it's been a lot of people getting away with a lot of money. A lot of people borrowing, plagiarism, copying. It's, because they know if they have the power and you let them hear your CD, you give them any inkling of a vibe, they on it. They are on it, and I'm letting you know they on it. Like, I used to be very disgruntled. Somebody said hip-hop ruined my life. It didn't. It taught me a lot. But it taught me how to be sharp. Those lessons, those tough lessons of really thinking you almost there, and then you get faced with a nigga coming to the door, opening up the door butt naked when you just trying to play the CD. It's more than enough to make you fighting mad. But I've grown from that. I'm a mogul in the making, an entrepreneur, a manager, and a consultant. And if you need to know about this, go get my ebook, Navigating Through the Industry, Emerging Artist Guide. You guys better get it. I may not be saying the title right because it's too long, but Surviving the Industry. Do that for yourself. Read, get to know what all the components. Just don't think it's about dropping a rap and putting it out online. It's so much more to it.